The US is back and Bitcoin is still stuck in a sideways phase. We're currently trading at $91,300 and yeah, not much is really happening here. But whatever, we're making a new video anyway just to take another look at the altcoins because I think there's a lot more going on there. And as I said, the US is back today, but only a little bit because still it's Thanksgiving, which means they also don't have a long trading day. And with that, welcome to a new crypto update video on my channel. Yeah, as I said, Bitcoin at $91,300. Yesterday, we already talked in detail during the live stream about what could be coming our way in the next few days or weeks. Whether it's Japan, Michael Saylor, or other things, we're definitely consolidating. We're going to take a calm look at everything now. Of course, we'll also take a look at the traditional markets. Gold is pumping, silver is pumping. So the precious metals, they just keep pumping. But before we get started, I'd appreciate it if you could give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you feel like it, also join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. There, you'll always get the latest info whenever I enter any trades or when I take any profits. And on top of that, the deposit event at BingX is still ongoing, of course. You can get up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses, and there's also the points event, but the prizes are running out, so it's only going for another 2 days. During this time, you can still grab some cool prizes, as well as discount codes, futures tokens, and other things. Just trade, and for every $1,000 you trade, you get 1 point, which you can then redeem for prizes, whether it's futures bonuses or token vouchers. I think it's a cool promotion, so feel free to check it out. The link is down in the video description. Let's get into it. Bitcoin at $91,300 US. Yeah, the market has pretty much fallen asleep. You can really tell the US isn't present. There's absolutely no volume in the market right now. We still have our big vector candle to the downside. That's this area right here. I'll just quickly highlight it for you so you can see it. This is the area that we should roughly fill down to about $88,700. Our current golden pocket, and that's why I've already drawn this line here, it's from yesterday's live stream, is also here between 88,000 and 88,700 US. That's why there's this big green box. That would be another small long opportunity, or rather the chance to double the position we already have open here. As I said, at the moment, I'm a bit skeptical that we'll break further to the upside. That's not necessarily because of the funding rates. They're still looking reasonably good, even though they've gone up again. But the price action is just terrible. We're getting higher highs on the lower time frames here in this area, but the volume is dropping. And that's obviously not what we want to see. That's a bit problematic, so I'm expecting another small sell-off. That would also fit with our fractal, which we've talked about several times before, or where I've shown you the 2021 reloaded. At the moment, the market is really behaving exactly like it did in 2021. Only this time we don't have cheap money and things could go much lower. Those are just the key points right now. So funding rates have risen slightly. Let's take a look at the heat map. Our biggest chunk is currently sitting at just under 100,000 US dollars. The rest, yeah, you can pick that up. Still, a small pullback wouldn't be a bad thing. The problem is, if we zoom in here, there's nothing. There's absolutely no liquidity. The next one only comes in at 86,000 and then lower. That means we'd have a bit of a problem here. I'd really like to fill this inefficiency, or rather this vector. After that, though, there should be an immediate upswing, so this would be another opportunity. But then liquidity, volume, everything has to be just right so we can break through this resistance. And that's a bit tricky at the moment. We know there's less volume in the market on weekends. Prices are easier to influence then. That would be one step. But on Monday, we'd have a CMI again. So it's really, really difficult at this point to make a decision already. A pullback and then a sharp move up. In my opinion, that would be much, much more accurate. To then reach our medium-term targets of $100,000 to $110,000, let's move on to Ethereum. Same story here. There's no volume at the moment. Consolidation volume, as you can see for yourself, there's almost nothing going on. So here as well, a pullback maybe into the range of $2,800 to $2,750 would be an option in order to then see a move from here with a possible, this was wave 1, then we see wave 2 down, and an impulsive wave 3, 4 or 5 according to Elliott waves. That would fit very, very well. Especially because our target for wave 3, as things stand now, is currently at $3,600 to $3,700. And what else is up there? The 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level and the golden pocket. So exactly where our sell zone is, that's also the technical price target for our third wave movement. That's the hope I can give you at the moment. And that's simply overall, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, and of course also Solana. Everywhere we have lower lows, but we still haven't seen this trend reversal. And that's what I've been saying again and again over the past few days. We also need a higher high for Solana, then a pullback with a wave 2, and then the third wave moving up impulsively so that we can somehow get some kind of altcoin season again. Then prices of $170, $180 are also possible again. But we need this intermediate step in between. Otherwise, let's move over to the traditional markets. The dollar has found support and the euro in turn is also consolidating. What is the reason for this? Japan is putting more and more pressure with its interest rate hikes, so there are more and more signs. The probability has now risen to 60%. That an interest rate hike is coming, while the US will probably lower its rates into no man's land without data, without facts, which is not good at all. Japan has other problems and will probably also start raising rates slowly. If we take a look at USDJPY, since we're already talking about the Forex market, we can see that it has stabilized again, even though it dropped from its high of nearly 158. It fell down to 156, but now it's consolidating again and trending upwards. So that's a bit of the problem. At first we thought, okay, Japan is buying a huge amount of dollars for this, which could still happen to push the exchange rate down a bit, but apparently they've decided to go for an interest rate hike. So for me, the next 2 or 3 weeks still look bullish and the price could keep going up. I don't doubt that at all. And that's also why gold is pumping right now. So for now, I've closed my short position because of the interest rate decision, because as I said, the interest rates, if they're cut by 85%, that naturally leads to gold rising at first. But we still have our Pionex position open. That is our bot position. Where is it? Where is it here? Open the wrong tab, which is now definitely up 20%. It's still running even though we've taken some profits. The sell is closed for now and we're waiting to see how the market stabilizes a bit more and whether we might even reach the $4,300 range again. Because if we look at it on the 4-hour timeline, oops, that's not what I wanted. If we look at it on the 4-hour time frame, we still have a bit of room up here, at least for now. Also because we haven't closed the inefficiency over here yet. That means I'd even be willing to go for around $4,300 and definitely make the next move there. Because I just suspect that the whole thing with the Fed won't really end well. Meaning that the Fed cuts rates into a void, so to speak. Then possibly inflation data comes in higher and the Fed might even have to backtrack and we end up not getting any rate cuts at all for now. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. That's more of a long-term play. The long position is running and the short has now hit stop loss at entry. But we've only taken one take profit so far, and now my next target zone would be $4,275 to $4,300. Silver, same story. If rate cuts go to the moon, if there's uncertainty in the markets, that gives precious metals a boost. So next up, DAX. Here's the DAX consolidating. The American stock markets are opening again today, but as I said, it's only a short trading day. You can see for yourselves, Ernst & Lanz, Thanksgiving, early market close at 1 p.m. So not much is really happening today either, but keep an eye on things. The rest still looks very, very stable. Russell, same story. So basically, we're seeing the same signs everywhere. First, that we have a head and shoulders pattern. Second, that we're not completely through with it yet, because we still haven't formed a higher high here either. That means for now, we just have to wait a few more days. Volatility index basically dead for now, but we still have vectors up here. Just stay cautious. Don't over-leverage yourselves now, especially not over the weekend. Uncertainties are increasing, I'd say. But for now, we're in a cycle, or rather, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably in a phase. Everyone is hyped about the interest rate cuts. Yeah, gold is rising, Bitcoin is rising, crypto is rising and all that. But what's happening in the background often goes unnoticed. Whether it's Japan now or ultimately US debt, we looked at that yesterday too. It's gotten pretty quiet about how all that stuff is supposed to be refinanced. China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, Japan. I think we have enough problems going on in the background. But anyway, that's all from me for now. We'll catch up later for an XRP update. You know, Friday is always XRP time. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching. That's it from me. I wish you a great start to the weekend or into Friday, and we'll talk again later. Until then, ciao, ciao, and as always, stay creepy.